So in the last video, we talked a little bit about autoimmune disease, kind of try to orient you to this chart. Now I want to talk about something a little different. Let's talk about environmental toxins. So let's say you live in Iowa or live in a farm. You grew up in a farm. You're eating great food. Small town. The air is clean. And, you move to LA. All of a sudden you start getting headaches, or you can't sleep, you got all kinds of health issues, and you're wondering what's going on. Let's say you moved into an apartment building, you're pursuing some kind of career, you're tired of the small town country life, but you're starting to get sick. So obviously if you were fine and doing well living in your small little town in a farm environment, eating those farm fresh foods, you might think, well, what changed environmentally? And this is a clear-cut example of, let's look at the obvious, which is your environment change, you're getting sick. So if you're living in an apartment building, you're being exposed to all the Wi-Fi, what's called radio microwave radiation. Let's say you're shopping at the regular grocery store, you stop eating your really great farm food. And of course, this is an extreme example, but there are actually people who have gone through this. Now you're getting pesticides, herbicides, denatured foods, GMO foods. If you're eating a lot of fish, let's say you're getting heavy metal, mercury poisoning, chemicals from all kinds of chemicals and toxins from the air pollution, you name it. You're in a heavy-duty toxic environment. So what are you going to do? Well, number one, if it had any sense, you put 2 and 2 together, you get the hell out of LA. Nothing's worth that kind of suffering. But most, let's say for the average person, you didn't come from the farm and you're suffering with all this, and you're in this really heavy-duty environment. What can you do? All right, so let's go through it. So for the EMF exposure, in other words, you have all these crazy-ass, they might call them non-ionizing. In other words, it's not frying you like a microwave oven, but it's low-level ionization. It's definitely disrupting your energy body, but it's definitely causing inflammation, and you start to get what's called radiation exposure, low level, and then you can have all kinds of compromise over time in the DNA of the cells. If you have a cell phone close to your body all the time, there's higher cases of brain cancer going on. So it's kind of a slow torture or a slow, low-level exposure, but it definitely disrupts the energy body, and it definitely can cause what's called radiation damage. So molecular hydrogen therapy is one of the best therapies for the modern world because it's incredible at inflammation. It puts out the fire, inflammation, free radical damages, remediated, and it repairs damaged cells. The DNA damage can be repaired. So anybody living in a big city should be doing this therapy, number one. Number two, the PMF therapy. If it's disrupting the nervous system, when you do PMF therapy, if you can't sleep, you buy this system here, it'll literally entrain your entire nervous system down to, depending on where you set it, if you set it down in the low alpha settings, it will put you into a deep sleep trance. Literally pumps the cells of the rhythm of the alpha wave frequencies, which are the sleep frequencies. If you want to meditate and chill and relax, set it at theta 7.83. That's the earth frequency. So you have a lot of options on where you can set this device, but definitely this is one of the best therapies, excuse me, for the brain and nervous system to get it back into rhythm. It's almost like your brain and nervous system have gone into fibrillation, like a heart going wild. And speaking of which, the heart, works on rhythm, natural rhythms, and this EMF environment is like a skewed, insidious field. This is not a harmonious field. It's like playing in a band where somebody's not playing in time, they're not playing in tune, and annoys the hell out of everybody, and you want to fire that musician. So your cell phones are not conducive to body field energy. Alrighty, so, and nor the cell towers that are projecting these signals. So we have hydrogen therapy and PMF, very powerful therapies for this modern world. You know, you can't, unless you're walking around in a spacesuit, you're just not going to be, how are you going to protect your body from being bombarded? So you're trying to offset the damage. Now, another therapy in this homeopathic protocol, Dr. Lebecki, one key piece is a radiation antidote procedure he has. So you do this 2-3 times a day, you're antidoting the radiation exposure. It's huge. I've seen some videos where he demonstrates just how bad the radiation exposure is. So you got 3 therapies now: the homeopathic protocol, molecular hydrogen, PMF. Once again, this is just, you're doing great, you moved to the city and now you're sick. Drink tons of bluesy water because it pulls out all the environmental toxins, the chemicals, the metals, the pesticides, the herbicides, all the heavy metals, everything, including radiation. Is really good on radiation. So now you got a 4th component. Now these other therapies, you know, the Breathe Like a Yogi for dummies will regulate the nervous system, relax you. The Chi Machine will relax you. So literally your environment is stressing you out. So you're really pretty much at war. So you have to do all these anecdotal practices and work harder. Whereas if you live in the country, you're eating great food, you're walking out in nature, you literally, nature is your machine. The food is, you don't have to antidote toxicity in the food. Even if you live out in the boondocks, you probably are being exposed to some cell phone radiation, but usually the towers are far and few between. Depends where you live. So you're never going to escape it completely. There's always some toxicity in all water supplies now. The most pristine waters still they find toxins. So I would always recommend, no matter where you are, to do the bluesy water because it antidotes all the environmental toxins. So there's a little bit of plastic in the water. Okay, so that's kind of a feel. Now the subconscious programs are going to say, well, what does that have to do with environmental toxins? And my answer to that is very simple. Every piece of crappy technology that's hurting your body was created by a human mind. And that human's mind is not doing good inner spiritual work. If it was doing self-recognition, surrender, spiritual work, it would never have any business in doing these harmful procedures. It would question its own self, its own actions. It wouldn't be part of a cynical, let's make money no matter any cost technology. All right, so that's my answer to what this is. This is a reflection. The world we live in is a reflection of many, many people not doing their inner work, basically. All right, so there's an example where your life goes to hell in a handbasket as soon as you move to the big city. Anything else on the list? You know, the vibration machine is always good. It helps process toxins. It helps relax the nervous system when it builds up a lot of tension. It's huge in our trauma release program. So pretty much everything on this chart you'd want to do for environmental toxins. All right, so that's a good example of that. We'll move on to another example.